This video, I'm going to show you how to create a group. So I'm going to go over a couple steps. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video, but stick with me because I'm going to cover all the topics that you could possibly need for creating a group. Now, to start off, where do I go to create a group? There's two places on the site where you can go. One is over here on the side where it says create content. I can go to a group, or I can go to the tab here where it says groups. Now you'll see in here, I'm in the Convene community. I have 3 different groups and I'm going to create a sample group. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go click on this particular tab here, and this is going to be a sample group. So I'm going to actually name it a sample group. All right, so that's the name that I have for it. I'm going to actually copy this, and I'll just tell you why, but I'll explain it as I go. There's 3 different types of groups. I want you to understand this. All groups have the same functionality. The best way I can explain it to you is like this. It is, how do I get into the group? How do I gain access to the group? So a public group, it's like going to a bar. And when you go to that bar, it's free to go in and out of that bar because it's just an open bar. Maybe I'm going to a private bar, and so you have a bouncer standing at the door. Well, you as the content creator, as the group creator, you're the bouncer. And so when you create this group, you're going to control who comes in and how they come in. Now, I can either give them an invite to come into my place, or they can request access to come into it, and then I can accept them into the group. The last way is Premier. Premier is our paid content. So it's like going to a bar again. If I'm going to come into a paid bar, I may have to pay the cover charge. So I'm going to pay that content to have that content. So as I come into that particular group. All right, group description. Now this is important. This is what you want to write, a couple of sentences, no more than 2 or 3 sentences that gives people an idea about what your group is about, because they're going to be able to search and see this. All right, so I'm just going to put a sample group because that's what it is. But if it was a group that I was really creating, I would talk a little bit about what is going to be inside of my group. Again, don't overwhelm it. 2 or 3 sentences, just a short description of what the group is. All right, you see down here, and most people will not see this, but I am a Convene writer. And so we have a writer program. It's going to show you who the author is. But if I wanted to click on this as a writer, I could actually come in here and say, okay, who am I writing this for? I'm writing it for Eugene Brown. It'll come in here and I can click on this and it'll actually make him the author, although I am writing it for him. So we have a writer program that you can acquire more about. We can talk more about later, but we do have people who will write and build your content for you, or you can become a certified writer and you can make content for others and they will pay you to do so. All right, so I'm going to create this particular group. It's going to take me to the next page. You can see that now I have to add my group logo. All right, 2 types of images that we have. We have group logos, and then we have cover images. Cover images are optional. They basically are images that are going to be up top. All right, you're looking at 600 by 150 up there. And here it'll be 300 by 300. All right, if it's bigger, let's say it's 500 by 500, it's going to take it, once you crop it, it'll take it down to the proper size within the system. So if you cannot put a image in that's smaller than that, and then also at the same time, you don't want to put some image in that's a completely huge, make the system downsize it for you. So if you do get an image is not effective, really try to follow what we're asking for here with the image. Make your image something that people are going to recognize, okay? I use Canva. Canva is a great resource, either free or you can use their professional service, and it is a paid service, but I use a lot of Canva. Your image could set you apart. So I'm going to choose my image. I already have a bunch of images here. I'm going to get this one, and I'm going to put it in there, and I'll save it. And then the next thing you know, I'll see it. Okay, again, here you see a broken link for an image because there's not anything there. Once I crop it, and it says 500 by 500, but the system takes it down to 300 by 300. I'm going to crop it. There it is. The image shows up there. So this is my sample image. I'm creating a group. Now I'm going to come in and I have to put group information. All right, so I'm going to build what my page is. Now, I want you to understand this when you're building this page. You can start building this page. You do not have to finish it right now, because once you go through the process, this group is going to remain in draft mode till it's time to be published. So don't feel like you have to make the most perfect page here. You can put just a little bit of information into it, and then you can build it later if you want to as you go through the process. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stay right here, and I'm going to work on building the page. So over here on my other screen, I have some content that I've taken from one of my groups, and I made a Word document, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it in there. Now later I'm going to show you guys how you can take a page from a website if you have one, and you can take that information and just paste it in here, and it will hold pretty much most of the formatting. You might have to do a little bit of editing. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to paste it in here. Now, other things that are important is you have to use your keyboard tab. So for me, I have a Mac, I Control-C, copy, Control-V to paste. Find out whatever it is that your computer uses. If you're using a regular computer, whatever the tabs are on your keys are on your keyboard is how you copy and paste within Convene. Very important that you understand. All right, so I have this in here. I have I'm going to go over some other things, real quick. I'm going to kind of run all the way through it. So if I want to use this, and this can be done and made bigger in a couple of different ways. Now I could come up here and I could say, well, let me make it a header. I can change it. I can make it bold, italics, underlines. I can do that all through right here if I wanted to, but I'm not necessarily going to do that. I'm just going to come over here like we're used to in Microsoft Word, and I'm going to say I want this to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make that 24 point. All right, everybody's used to this, bold, italicize, and underline. All right, so if I wanted to underline it, I could just do that or take that off. So if I want to change my, my color and highlight behind it, or my color of my text, I can come over here and I can pick a different color, and I can change the color of the font that I'm using. I tend to use this a lot. It's a Convene color to me, kind of that color that we use. So I do that to change the different color. If I wanted to highlight behind something, let's say I just wanted to highlight this, for example, I can just come behind, I can pick the color that I want, and there it is. It'll be, highlighted behind. If I want to, I don't necessarily want that, I want to take that away, this red line will take that away and I'll turn it back to the white. So what I would probably do in this situation, I would take this and I would probably bold it just because it's a header of that section. And then what I may do is I might end up taking this, and I don't want it necessarily to be 12 point. I'm going to make it just 14 point, a little bit bigger than what it is. If I wanted to put some emojis in here, I could just click this one and put some emojis. And then I could make it, float left, float right. I could center it, make all the text centered. I don't necessarily want to do that in this case, but just everybody should be used to that sort of thing. If I need to do indent or take the indent out, I can do that. If I want bullets here, if I want numbers here, pretty self-explanatory things that we're all very used to in the things that we do. Now, I want to do a couple of different things, okay? So let's just say I wanted to add a video above. All right, so I'm going to add a video above. I have a video over here that I'm just going to copy the link. It's a YouTube video that I made. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click into the player. So I can put the source in there and I can save it. There's the video. So we do things differently. Just a sample video that I could put in there. So that's all you have to do to insert a video. The other thing that you could do is go with the embed link. Get that from YouTube or Vimeo and put the embed link in there if you choose to do it that way. But very simple, just copy either YouTube or Vimeo is what we allow into Convene currently. Let's say I want to add a picture in here. And so let's say I always encourage people to put kind of a signature, put who they are. So we'll just go grab a quick picture that I use a lot. I can, again, copy the source from a website, or I can come in here and browse and grab a different image. I'm going to take this image with my signature on it and I'll put it down here. It's going to come in and it'll give you the size. What I tend to do is change it and add the size that I want, 250 by 250. And there it is, kind of a picture with a signature down on the bottom that kind of shows who I am. All right, so that's how you add a picture. But let's just say, for example, I wanted to add a link. I want you to also go out to the convenecommunities.com page. So I'm going to add that here. Convene. Actually, let me put, convenecommunities.com. All right, so convenecommunities.com, that's the link that I'm going to put in there, and I'm going to add it. Click here to go to Convene. All right, so, and if I did that and then I just saved it, it's going to actually go in here, click here to go to Convene. I did one thing I want to show you that I did not do. Let me highlight this. I'm going to click back on it. I actually want to not open this in the current window. I want to open this in a new window. So when I click on it, or the person clicks on it, it's going to open up in a new window, and then I'm going to save it. Now this becomes a clickable link once I saved it. All right, so now I have my main information in there for the website, for the page that I want. This is basically your group information you should look at as a page. Now, if I want to see what it's going to look like, I just click Save. Now, I'm still on the same page. There it is, but I can look down here and see what it's actually going to look like on the group information page, and there it is. So like I said, there's so much more that you can do. We will have some advanced training for you. This is just the basics that gets you into where you need to be. So I have all that information in there. I have my basics of creating my group information, so I'm going to complete the group creation. Now, this does not make it live. This puts it in draft mode. So it's still in draft mode. You can see it says launch the group. It's in draft mode, and I can still work on it. So for example, if I went back and I went over to community groups, here it is. It's in draft mode. So I don't have to finish this right now. I can always come back to it later. And so let's say it's later and I want to come back to it. I come back in and I'm in draft mode. Now, see, it says the group is currently in draft status. Now, if I want to continue to do things to it, I can go to the edit and I can say, okay, well, what do I need to do? What more do I want to add? So I highly suggest that you always, one of the next things that you do is you always add a welcome pop-up. Now, what is the welcome pop-up? The welcome pop-up is when I first join the sample group. When a member first comes to my sample group, they're going to see the welcome pop-up. I particularly like to do a video. So I'm going to click edit. And I'm going to copy another link over here, another YouTube link that I have ready. Copy that. I'm going to come up to the video. I'm going to paste it in there. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to add it in here. Welcome to Convene. Let's say that's the one that I was going to use as my pop-up. I'll submit it. It's in there. And this is exactly what people are going to see the first time that they come to your group. And the only time they'll see it is the first time they come to the group. After they leave this page or they close this pop-up, it's gone. They won't see it again. All right, so I'm going to go from there. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look into the group information or the guest information. Here's the group information. But I'm going to come over here to guest information. Now, why do we have guest information? There's some people on the site that actually want the information inside of their group to be different than what a guest would see. So what would a guest see? Why would that be different? It could be that your group, when people come inside of that group, they're entering a private group. So they've gone to guest information to learn about your group, learn what it's all about, learn if they want to be a part of it, and that's all they see. Now, an example would be Lisa Herring and SSDI, Social Security and Disability Benefits, her particular group. She qualifies people before they're able to enter her private group, meaning that she has to make sure that they qualify to be able to file for Social Security and Disability Benefits. So the people for that group see guest information. She tells them what to do to get in touch with her. She tells them how to qualify to be in the group. And then once she accepts them into the group, the private group, they actually see the group information of that group. And inside of that group, she says, okay, welcome to the group. Here's the steps that you need to take. Do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Now, that's kind of a special occasion, but you might want to have your guest information a little bit different than your other information. By default, what people will see is the information page if you do not have guest information. But if I wanted it to be different, I can come in here and I can create it, or I can just copy the information right away from my main thing, main area, my main information. And then I could go in here if I wanted to and edit this. If I wanted to edit it and make it different, I could go in here and make it different to make it a guest, or I could just keep it the same. All right, so that's how you make and how we use that. If I wanted to change my images, I want everybody to understand this. If I wanted to replace my logo, again, make a good logo and come in, and if I wanted to replace the logo, this is where I would do it. I would just click replace logo. I would select the image of a new logo, and then I would put it in there, and then I would click upload of that logo. So just another way if you want to change it. And let's say I did not add a cover image and I wanted to add a cover image, I could come in and find a cover image. I'm not sure this one will fit, and I can say, okay, let's upload the cover image and make it, and then I can come in here and I could crop it. And then once I crop that cover image, it would be in there, and there it is. It's sitting up top. All right, it doesn't go all the way across. It's just a smaller cover image, but this is what people see when they come into your group and the group information. All right, next things that you need to know, and we'll talk about this more later. We're not really going to get into it. This is the information about your group. I can come in here, anything that's underlined, I could change it, and then I make sure I hit the check mark, but I could change the information about where it is and all those different things. If I had multiple groups, I could change the parent group and put it into another group if I wanted to, for example. I can manage my members. As members come in, I can promote people to admin. Again, more classes on that to follow. And then we've gone over information, guest information, welcome pop-ups. We'll go over reports and another video, and then images. I want to go over real quick some of the main things about a group. All right, so here is the group information. We've talked about that. So that's our main web page. That's the way we want to make it look really good. Give all our information, make people understand why they want to be a part of our group. I can put group announcements. Now, this is important. A group announcement goes out to 100% of your members of your group in some form of a notification, whether that be a desktop notification or an email notification or both. It is defaulted to both. All right, this is one of the notifications that we default to both, because community announcements, group announcements, we think are very important, and we want people to have those turned on. Other notifications, you can select what you want. All right, so if I wanted to do that, you'll see that this is very repetitive. If I wanted to come in and add an announcement, I can put it in there, and it is going to send that out to everybody in the group. All right, same type, you build it the same way. You'll see that it's so repetitive. The rider is everywhere. So you actually could use this section to build a newsletter. Build your newsletter. And when I send this out to the people in my group, everybody gets it just like a newsletter. Next thing is discussion boards. Everybody in your group, understand this, everybody in your group has the ability to create a discussion board. And you want to encourage them to create a discussion board. You can do it as yourself here, or I can actually do it anonymously. Make sure to go watch the videos that are about creating discussion boards, because this is one of the main ways that you can use your group to be an amazing collaboration platform. All right, next thing that we'll talk about inside of, well, I went over to the discussion board. Let me get back to groups, and let me jump back into the group that we're building. And so inside of the discussion board, we had that, and then blog. Difference between a discussion board and a blog: inside of a discussion board, people can respond to each other. Inside of a blog, same format, you'll see this, write a blog. Great thing is you can copy and paste blogs from websites and just have to do a little bit of reformatting in here, and it looks amazing. All right, so again, same thing that you want to be able to do inside of your groups. You want to do that with a blog. The difference is I can respond to the blog. I don't necessarily respond to a person within the blog setting. That's one of the things that makes it different. Experiences, we'll talk about experiences later. An experience is nothing more than our training platform, what we use for a course or training. We call them an experience. There's going to be a whole course next about that. Subgroups, you can have as many subgroups as you want, both private, public, and premier. This might be a place where you want to really go into the strategy of how you want to set your content up. You may want a public group where you're exposing people to your content, you're giving them free content. And then you might want to use the Premier as your paid group inside of your free group. Another idea is that you use a private group for all your business stuff. There's so many things that you can do in a strategy. We have a lot of videos on that. We'll be talking about that. Make sure to ask questions about that, and I'll go over strategy with anybody anytime. Now, modules. What is a module? A module is a group where it can either be free or it can be Premier, it can be paid. And what that is people in your side of your group, they can go through the process of learning. So if I had 10 experiences, it's going to make them take experiences 1 through 10, and it makes them do it in order. I can also set it up to where I can have multiple modules in a row. And so from those modules, I can make them take module 1, then module 2, then module 3. I can make them take them in a row so they go through the process. Documents are great, and let me back up to modules. Inside of a module, it's a little bit different because when I create that module, you'll see it's just like a group, but all that's in a module is group information and experiences and documents. Again, there's going to be more videos on modules, on how to create modules that get very specific on that, but it does not have announcements, discussion boards, blogs. It does not have those other things. Last thing is documents that I'll talk about, and this is, we have documents everywhere inside of Convene, communities, inside of groups, inside of Convene Connect, the Convene Collab. So there's, and then you'll have your own personal space for documents. Documents are important. We want to make it flexible. So if I had a group and I really wanted to put some important information out, I can put them out in just single documents where the members can come see it. Or I can create folders and they can see it within inside the folders. I can also create documents that only the group admins can see as well. All right, that's really kind of a quick overview of creating groups. We'll dive deeper into other sections of how to do discussion boards, blogs, experiences. I'm getting ready to do another video on experiences, but again, you can see that Convene is built for collaboration. So if you have questions, make sure to go into the Convene Communities discussion board, ask the questions. We'll respond. We'll do videos. We'll point you in the right direction, and we look forward to helping you grow.